Well, in case you didn't notice, it's pretty gloomy and wet. It's one of those days. The potatoes are ready to harvest and I don't want them to rot in the box. I didn't do any special preparation, no lining to protect the box, not even any holes in the base for drainage, as I figured that excess water would just seep through the cracks and the cardboard anyway. I got 500 grams of seed potatoes from the nursery. I filled the box halfway with a premium potting mix and then evenly spaced the seed potatoes in the box before covering them with a few inches more of the same potting mix. The three main reasons to grow potatoes at home are freshness, variety, and organic. After a week, the potatoes started to grow through the potting mix. I kept the watering up mostly daily since we are heading into our subtropical summer, and technically it's a bit hot and late to be growing potatoes here. Just over 2 weeks, the potato plants had grown big enough to backfill. Backfilling potato plants can help to produce more potatoes if the plants start rooting from those newly covered stems. And considering the time of year wasn't ideal for potatoes, the plants grew quite well over the next 6 weeks before the pests and the heat started getting hold of them. And here we are, exactly 8 weeks later after I first planted them in this box. So let's remove the box and see what type of harvest we get. What I'll do is I'll snip off these stems first, because we don't need them anymore. Right, that's that. I'm going to slide the box up and it should just reveal the dirt inside. Ta-da! You can actually see a few potatoes just on the outside here. And now let's just smash this down. Okay, they're fairly small so far anyway. They are nice. We'll weigh these soon, but for now we'll put them in here. Tiny one there. I'll make sure I don't miss any. Well, by the looks of it, I think we've got our money back. Now I'm going to reuse all this potting mix. I'm going to put it into a garden bed. One last one, I think. I'll just go through a little bit more of a look, but I think that's about it. Let's weigh it and see what we got from our 500 grams. 1590. So yeah, nearly 1600. Well, that's at least 3 times the amount of what we planted. So we got our 500 back and then another kilo on top of it, which is not too bad, but it's not great either. Found another potato. In case you're wondering, the base is of course just sodden, rotten materials. That'll compost down, that'll just disappear in the garden bed pretty much in a couple of weeks. Oh, g'day. I'm Mark from the future, and I just thought I'd jump in and let you know that those potatoes were really nice to eat. They weren't as purple as I expected they would be. They had a tinge of purple, and why was that? Well, I think it was because it was grown at a hotter time of the year. If I grew them through winter here in the subtropics, I reckon they'd get purpler on the inside. So I've saved some of the smaller potatoes, and what I've done is I've put them in this box and I've covered them over with some potting mix, and I'm going to stick them in the shed, and then in about 3 months time in autumn, as we're going into winter, we will let them grow, and hopefully they'll grow longer. Instead of 8 weeks, 12 to 16 weeks, they'll grow more and they'll grow purpler. Well, that's the theory. I love experimenting, especially with food crops. But anyway, let's see how it goes. Alright, because the box is so weathered, that will easily break up and compost down into the garden bed. I won't do the plastic here, but I'll compost the cardboard seed packet. I'll just part the mulch a bit here. It's already full of worms. The worms will start eating it. I don't need to bury it too deep. It's not that big of a deal. Just make a trench. I don't have to get too particular actually, because that'll just completely rot down. Fill that back over. I'll be able to plant on this pretty much right away. Gosh, look at the size of this fella. It's like a snake. Look at him. What a ripper. And now I'll just empty all this potting mix out. Because it's a premium potting mix, there's still some goodness in this. Smooth that all out. And that'll make a really good garden bed. Cardboard and all. Look, I would have loved to have given you the wow factor of a ton of potatoes in a cardboard box like that, but it's the principle that counts. And I think the principle worked. The cardboard box didn't fall apart. It only in the end, when I was taking it and looking for the harvest, that is a success in my view. And I think if I did it again at the right time of year and the right season with maybe a different type of potatoes, you might get a more vigorous type of plant and perhaps a better harvest. But I'm not going to get picky over that. I think the principle actually works. And so I'm really happy with how that experiment went.